Hi, you guys. Welcome to Get Real with Rick Dancer, and we are going to get super real today. I mean, ultra real. This is
Heidi.
and Heidi. What's your you can give your last name, or you
Sure.
don't have to.
Heidi Hendricks.
And you're a native of Eugene.
Yeah, well, I'm from California, but I've been in Eugene for 5 years.
And you guys, we are in Junction City because on the 22nd, the police chief and the community here is having a, I'm going to tag that guy. They're having a symposium on sex trafficking. And I know a lot of people don't think that really happens, but it does. And it's happening a lot. And you are someone that you're a survivor.
I mean, I've experienced it in the most raw version that you can get, you know. It happens right downtown, and you don't even realize what's going on.
So tell your story. So you were like one of these homeless youth. You're an addict.
Yeah, so I was in my addiction, and, you know, at the time I was homeless and living on the streets, and survival was my MO, you know, getting by. And that's when that part of the world and that reality was faced to me, you know, that, yeah.
So you tell them what happens. Just be raw.
Okay.
Just kind of explain what happened.
Well, so downtown Eugene, you might not realize it, but that's where I was. I was approached by people from Portland saying, hey, you know, you're a pretty girl. We need you to come ride with us. Here's $100. So, you know, and it's enticing when you are trying to survive out there. And I mean, survival of the fittest when you're in that moment. And there's, you know, if I wanted protection, food, clothes, that's readily available. If, you know, I don't know. It's hard to talk about because it's such a sensitive subject, but it's happening, and that's why I'm here. I just want everyone to know that.
Now, one of the things we were talking about, and you guys, Thomas, you're right. Hope Ranch, you are at Hope Ranch, right?
Yes, that's actually the organization that I'm connected with that's helped me along my journeys.
So again, the police chief here in Junction City is having we're going to talk with him too. We're going to talk with Hope Ranch in a minute. And we're talking to a parent here in Junction City of two teenage girls who's obviously very concerned about this. I asked this question of you, and I thought this was really interesting. So what's going on in Eugene right now, then there are probably sex traffickers going in to and luring the young women we see on the streets into this.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. It's happening daily. And I witnessed it with people in my addiction. Those women out there, they're getting approached, they're getting asked, and they're doing it. You know, I ended up going to Coffee Creek and was incarcerated, but it didn't stop there. You know, they're even recruiting women in prison. So it's happening right now to young girls, males, every walk of life.
Men too.
Absolutely.
So by us, this is a question I'm just going to ask because I'm in Eugene and this is a huge topic right now. By us leaving those people on the streets, are we doing them a favor?
You know, no. I feel like it's just enabling that to continue, and that life is okay leaving them out there and letting that happen.
So that's not compassion.
No, that's enabling. You know.
What were the things that got you doing this? I mean, what were you feeling? Well,
you know, you're searching for love. You're searching for feeling validated. You know, because for me, I was hopeless on the streets. I was in my addiction. So any type of attention or someone that makes you feel good, because that's sometimes where it begins. These traffickers pose as going to be your boyfriend, or, oh, you're on the streets, let me help you. You know, you need clothes, let's go get them. And you know, it's enticing. That's just the word I can say. And you're surviving, you know?
Right. And so you have no money. And so all of a
Right.
sudden somebody offers and you just have to, I mean, is it, you correct me, okay? Is it
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
so
you're fine.
you do a trick and you get the things you need done, is that?
I mean, in my experience, I was so naive to what was happening. I thought they were actually wanting me as a person. I didn't really understand that, oh, they're only here for personal needs being met, you know? But once I started catching on, realizing, oh, I get it now. You don't really want me and my company. You're just going to give me, make it look like what I need so that your needs can be met.
So we hear about sex trafficking and we think about people being trafficked to other countries. And you know people that happened to.
Not other countries, but other cities. Yes. They came from Portland. They got some girls and they took them. They went to Portland. I know of some women that have gone all the way to Sacramento and to be brought into pimping and prostituting. So
what did you learn from all that about you? What are you learning at Hope Ranch about you?
You know, I personally, my road to recovery is gaining self-love, self-worth, and my heart just goes out to people that, because that awareness is not there, you know, and so my heart is to help gain that awareness in our communities, to the women, to the kids, so people know what's going on, because you can't turn a blind eye anymore, because this is real, this is happening, and we have to face that.
So does it start on the streets? I mean, is that where we as a community need to get involved?
It starts on the streets, social media, I mean, dating sites, it's everywhere, you know, college campuses, I mean, our community as a whole.
Do you think, is it, and I don't mean this in a I don't mean this as it's going to sound, but
yeah.
So how do you fall for this? And do you think other people fall? I know what you did because you were
sure.
desperate for money. You needed. I mean, this is survival.
Right.
What do you think it is? You're living with other women who are at Hope Ranch who struggle with this.
You know, the luxury, because it's really, you know, these women meet these guys who are gonna date them, you know, it's called the grooming stage, and they're buying them all these fancy clothes, giving you everything that society says we want, you know what I mean? And it's really easy to fall when you're getting all these things and feeling good and getting pampered and taken out.
Kimberly's asking, how do they lure the girls?
Oh man, well, dating sites, for instance, you can go on there, think you're going to go out on a date with this amazing guy that's saying, hey, you know, I work here, I do this, and, you know, it can start there. Campuses, they're looking for pretty models to do photo shoots. That it could start there too. I mean,
and so there's not a big leap between the enticement and then you actually doing what they're asking you to do.
Right.
What percentage, somebody's asking, what percentage happens to boys?
I wish I knew the exact statistics, but I mean, just as commonly as it's going to happen to a female, I'm sure it can just happen to a male as well. I mean, the industry is for every walk of life. Right.
Sex is sex.
Yeah.
So if you were to recommend to some, I mean, would you have gotten off the show? How I love talking to people like you because this is real life, you know what I mean?
I know.
And I think I'm sorry this happened to you, but man, you're so brave to come out and do this, and you have so much value because you can show us where to turn and what to do differently. You guys, again, we're doing this because Junction City, the police chief hired us to come out here and talk to him because they're having a symposium on the 22nd. They really want students and parents from Junction City, Harrisburg, Coburg, Eugene, Springfield to come to this seminar and learn about the signs and what could have changed you. I mean, what would you, in your case, what would have been different for you?
If I had the awareness prior?
Yeah.
I think that I would be more skeptical on what people's motives or what the motives were of people engaging with me. What is it that they're really out there? Thank you for saying I'm very brave because this is definitely something new for me.
What does that mean to you?
It's hard because I'm putting my face out there, telling the community about what's happening. I mean, that could anger some people. I mean, that's reality.
Okay, so you tell me what that means. Because I don't think people believe that. So now you are
So here
a
I
target.
am, putting my face out there, telling the world, like, hey, this is happening.
Those pimps are not, they have a business to run,
Yeah,
and they want more women and more men under their little puppeteer, and you're calling them out.
Absolutely, because someone has to. I can't live in fear of that any longer, you know?
What did it change that you miss the most?
What do I miss the most?
about you as a little girl? I like how you smiled there. That was
Because,
really
like,
sweet, because you do miss something, don't you?
that innocence of just, that the world is a good place. When you go through such dark times like that, it changes your perception of the world, and realizing that there is a lot of negative stuff that happens, But, and I just miss, just the bliss. And, you hear ignorance is bliss, and sometimes that's true, but hey, I'm going to run with it. I have a passion for this. I want other women to hear
See
it.
what they're saying about
Oh,
you?
you guys are so nice.
I love. Somebody wants to know, what are some signs to tell teenage girls? If I had a teenage daughter, what was the first thing you would advise them of?
If an older guy is coming after you, no. Why? You know what I mean? There's no reason for some older male to approach young women. Young kids, I should say.
Or a man approaching a young kid.
Right, that's not okay,
man.
and there's an ill motive there.
People are saying you can get through this. How has Hope
Thank
Ranch
you.
helped you?
Like I mentioned, I was incarcerated recently, and they were along my journeys the whole time. They connected with me by sending me material to help heal, and just getting me connected with. This right here is because Hope Ranch wants me to speak out, and they've just helped me really heal, getting me connected with resources in the community, and just letting me know that hope is real and a future is bright.
You know what I love about life?
What?
That people like you change people. You change people, because I don't think, I'm not a person that believes that everything happens for a reason. I just think that's garbage.
Right.
But everything can happen. You can turn everything into a decent foundation. Foundations were all cracked.
Right.
But now you have a story. You
Yes.
have, not like you want to go out and do this to make a story.
Right.
But you take what has happened to you, you make this into your story. And isn't that kind of fun? Interesting, deep?
Well, yeah, because people can really connect and listen, because I've lived it, I've seen it, and I can say that it's real. You know what I mean? And I feel like people might hear that from me because I have lived it. It's not just from the books. It's not just from people saying it.
Okay, so Billy Joe makes a good point. Teenagers are if this is happening to them, they're not going to want to tell their parents. What should parents be looking for? Do you have any kids?
I have a 10-year-old. I do have a younger sister who's just in high school. So
I bet you are a pain.
right. If they're coming home with clothes and items of value, then you don't know where it's coming from. If they're on social media and doing dating things, maybe, I guess just be very skeptical of who they're dating and who's engaging in building their trust.
All right, you stay here, or you
Okay.
can come down here with me if
All
you
right.
want. You guys, we're going to go down here. Was that awesome or what? You tell me there's not really super brave people in the world. Where did she go? Oh, okay. Bob, come here. We'll switch order. Come here, my man. Chief. This is the chief of police here in Junction City. So, when you go back and look at this interview we just did and all the people, she hit a chord. There's a lot of people. So why is this so important to you here in Junction City? You're the chief of police. You've been here 3 years. You have a resume that's pretty amazing, and you come to this small town and you see a potential problem.
It's not just located in Junction City, it's nationwide. It's actually worldwide. Human trafficking is something that occurs in every corner of the globe. And what we need to do is educate our parents, educate our children, get them actively engaged, and make them aware of a problem that most people don't even think exists. They're not aware that it exists.
So is it now, in the story we just heard, it was here in town, it was mostly around this area, but there are cases where people are being taken to other countries and never seen again.
Oh, absolutely. It's called the Hague Convention or the Hague Treaty, and there are a number of countries that are signatories to that, and the Hague Treaty, one component of it is that if a child is missing, that country will work with the government of that where that child resides to help get them back. Russia is not a signatory to the Hague Treaty, and so kids that end up in another country, say Russia, or that are not signatories to the Hague Treaty, getting them back is next to impossible.
So in other countries, is it possible to get them back?
United Kingdom, Europe. We've got a lot of countries that will actively work, but just because the government cooperates doesn't mean that we're going to get the child back. Finding a child is like finding a needle in a haystack.
So why do you care about this so much? Why you?
This has been a career-long passion that I've had throughout my career. I've worked with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children on a number of events, served on the Oregon Missing Children's Clearinghouse Advisory Board for 14, 15 years. It's just something that I see as a problem. I'm a father, I've got kids myself, and it's just an issue that people aren't aware of. People don't understand that it's a real problem, so they don't even know what to look for.
So the symposium is free.
The symposium is absolutely free. This will be our third annual. It's going to be held at Junction City First Baptist Church, which is located at 28957 West 18th Street in Junction City.
This is on the 22nd, starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. And all your questions, as you folks have been coming on here saying, what do I tell my daughter? What do I tell my son? What to look for? How to look for it? That's what's going to be happening at this seminar. And it's not just for parents. Your kids need to be there too. I mean, if your kid won't go, you go. But your kids need to go too, just to have the warning, because we're too trusting as people, don't you think?
Absolutely. And it's sad, but this is a reality. We have people that are being trafficked. You'll get somebody that highlights or identifies an adolescent a lot of the time online, and then they start playing up to that child, what they call grooming them, trying to get them to befriend them. They tell them how beautiful they are, and this isn't limited to just girls. It's boys and girls alike. They boost their ego. They know that the self-confidence is an issue with all adolescents, and they play on that. They boost up their ego. They boost up their self-confidence, get them to become a confidant to where they trust them. Then they start meeting the person. Then oftentimes they'll offer them drugs, or they will just flat take them and start working them.
So the concern is a lot of parents coming on here, and I think you've just opened a can of worms. The can was already there, but now people are aware of it, and especially when you say this is little boys and little girls. So if your kid is coming home and all of a sudden there's somebody new in their life that's really giving them things, offering them things, telling them that, that's the thing to be nervous about.
Absolutely. One of the things that we talk about in here is internet safety, where you should and should not have computers in your home. Allowing your kids to have computers in their bedroom and be online unsupervised is not a good idea. Watching what's going on their phone, making sure you have passwords to their phones. All of this is stuff that is talked about at the conference. We're going to have people from the FBI, Oregon Department of Justice, Northwest Women's Coalition Against Violence and Exploitation, NWK. They're out of Portland, and they do a lot with trafficking. There's a lot of experts that are there simply to answer your questions and educate people.
What about special needs kids?
That all the way across the board. Special needs kids require more attention because they're far more trusting. They don't understand the dynamic of a threat. They don't understand the reality of what can happen. That's addressed there as well.
So you guys, I know some of you have asked, where does this information? It's on the top of the page. I wrote it in the lead up there. Gives you the time, the day. It doesn't have the place, but it's the First Baptist Church.
Junction City First Baptist Church.
And I'll put that on as a little bit later. And you can call their office. There's no charge, but it would be really good to just let them know you're going to show up. You don't have to. You can just show up that day, but it would be nice that you guys knew who was coming.
Correct, because we provide lunch. So lunch is provided by local vendors in the community that step forward. They realize the value in this. They want to be a supporter of ours, so the people that get to come, you also get lunch.
Do you remember who?
We right now have not secured that.
Okay.
McDonald's has been involved. Abby's Pizza has been involved in the past, and we're just working on the final details right now.
So if you are a Junction City, Harrisburg, Coburg, Monroe business, and you'd like to get involved in that way, call the number, because you can be involved in this process. You don't have to be. I think people sometimes don't understand this is a community thing, and we can protect our kids.
Community is the only way to protect our kids. No law enforcement agency anywhere in the world can protect the kids as well as the community. Old adage, it takes a village to raise a child. That's still the same. If the people in the community aren't watching out for each other and aren't watching out for the kids become vulnerable and they become victimized.
All right, hang on there, Bob. I got somebody else for you. So you know what's really good for you, my dear, is when I mentioned this topic, Hope Ranch got comment, have you gone to Hope Ranch? Have you gone to Hope Ranch? They know who you are.
Cool.
So tell them who you are.
My name is Diana Jansen. I am the founder and president of Hope Ranch.
So what is it?
We work with survivors of sex trafficking. We work with survivors in the community. We have survivors living with us most of that time since 2011, since we've become a nonprofit. We've had people living with us too.
So you're located here in the area,
Yes.
Eugene, Springfield area.
Yes.
So what are the things you see the most? What are some warning signs that you're seeing with these, that kind of a thing you see with men and women, boys and girls, that they're getting lured into this?
Well, one of the things that I see is we're all looking for validation. We're all looking for someone to think that we're just the best and wonderful and that we're loved, and especially vulnerable young boys and girls are looking for that love, and somebody comes along and finds out what their deepest desire is, and then they promise them the world plus. And that's what will begin to lure them in. Often in North America is they pose as boyfriends. It's not like I'm going to snatch you, but
Right.
I'm going to be your boyfriend. I'm going to take you out, or your girlfriend or whatever.
Do they get lured in and then it's too late?
Yes, and then it's too late, because then, hey, we can't make rent this week. If you love me, that you will do this one thing for me. And then it starts. They get them to cross a little bit across the line, and then it's easier for them to go more and more and further across that line, and then they feel they can't go back.
How many, do you have men at your house too, boys at your house too?
No,
You just do
although
women?
we have actually worked with specifically one guy who came here to town to fight fires, and then he found us on the internet and said, in fact, I still talk to him. He's moved away, but I still encourage him and talk to him. Just talked to him yesterday.
How many women have you had through the Hope Ranch?
Wow, I counted them up not too long ago. It's been between 25 and 30 people in the last 9 years. But we have a small place, looking for a bigger place,
So
looking for a room.
how come you do this? Why do you care?
Why do I care? I didn't used to. I always thought it was somebody else's problem in somebody else's country. And then my life as I knew it exploded, and I went to volunteer at this place, and they put me on the floor for survivors of sex trafficking. And once I realized, don't get me started, I hope I don't cry. Once I realized what was going on in our country, not that everybody isn't important, but I realized it was happening to people here. How could I not do something when I can? We can't all do the same thing, but I can, so I have to. I can't sleep at night.
Really?
Yeah.
You see value in these people, huh?
Oh, absolutely. They're the most amazing. And what's cool is most of them end up being my friends, and they still come to see me. We talk on the phone.
So you really can change the world one person at a time, can't you?
Yeah, that's all you can do is change the people in your sphere of influence. And if we all did that, the world would be a different place.
So why the name, I can guess, but why the name Hope Ranch?
Well, actually, survivors helped me come up with that, because I think we all know that ranch can also be a place where possibly a brothel is, but just the hope, because there is hope. There is no, hope is not gone until basically you've breathed your last. But so just because our vision is to have a ranch, a place where we can have horses and animals and gardens, and that's down the road, but that is our vision. So hence the ranch, and then hope, because I'm full of hope.
You're kind of amazing.
Well,
You are.
thank you.
I mean, now you're making me want to cry. I'm getting tears in my eyes, because it's like, you know what? I think sometimes we don't understand the meaning of compassion. And see, you are a picture of that, because compassion literally means to suffer with. And we have so many people who use that word and say, I'm having compassion, and they're doing nothing. You have compassion, and you're actually living with these young men and women, in your case women mostly, but you're side by side with them, so you are truly living out that compassion. I mean, that's profound.
Well, thank you for pointing that out. I never really thought of it that way, and what I feel is we can't all do the same, but we can all do something. And that's what I think, if we all did even just a little bit together, we can do a lot of changes. It's when we become apathetic and think, yeah, it's out there, it's somebody else's problem, not mine, but we can all do a little bit. That's all we need.
How can people get a hold of Hope Ranch and you?
Well, we have a Facebook presence, Lane County Against Trafficking, and then Hope Ranch Ministries on website. It's a .com, and then on the Facebook, if you just actually Google it, I think we're one of the first people that come up.
All right.
So,
thanks.
Yeah.
It was nice talking to you.
It was
You
nice
made my
talking to
day.
you.
I got to wipe it here out of it. Okay, I got one more person I want to talk to. Okay, she made me cry. That was.
Are you crying or is that allergies?
I got tears. Yeah, no, it's not allergies. That's a tear.
Uh-huh,
So
okay.
tell them who you are.
Wendy Waddell. So I'm a local mom involved in the community, the school district, the just wherever I can be.
So you heard about this, and you got
Yeah.
2 teenage daughters.
Yeah. They're 13 and 15. So it's a subject, especially with summer coming up. It's something us parents, I think, are thinking about now. You're picturing your kids like, can I walk to Dutch Bros? We want to go to the lake. All these things your kids are asking to do with summer. And I think as parents, we're thinking, now what's the right answer? Like, what precautions should we be taking? You want them to get off the couch. You want them to get off their phone. You want them to go and do. Here in Junction City, we have like tennis courts and basketball courts and the pool and a skate park. And you want your kids to go do that. Get off the couch and go do that. But what's the right answer?
But
for
you
that?
want to load them with some good information on if
Absolutely.
somebody comes up and says this or whatever that information is going to be. It's really just, it's life protection.
Yes.
And I think we know that as parents, or
Right.
I think what's really the mistake we make as parents is we think our kids already know. But we
Right.
haven't really had that hard question, those difficult conversations where you say,
Right.
okay, I know this is embarrassing, but this is what can happen. Mom, Dad, leave me alone. I don't want
Right.
to talk about it. No, we're going to talk about it. So it's
Right.
in their head.
And then, you get the eye roll, and we had an assembly at school about this, or I know we had to talk about this, So as parents, to kind of force the issue and to know what to say, when you have smaller ones, I think you just worry about straight up like kidnapping
Right.
when they're little. When they're older, 7th, 8th grade, high school, you start to worry about what are their vulnerabilities. Like, you're not worried about straight up kidnapping anymore. You're worried about what's going to entice them. What have I done as a parent to build up this inner self-worth and this confidence so that they're not so tempted by something someone's going to throw at them.
Right. And as a parent, I think we forget the power we have in our kids' lives.
Right.
And and the teachers, and God bless you teachers and everything,
Yes.
but as a parent, you can go in and ask those questions and they will still take that from you. Even when they say they
Yes.
hate you.
Yes.
They will still do that. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah. And it might be met with rolled eyes and crossed arms, but it's getting in there. It's filing away, and you just hope that if they ever need it, it's going to get pulled back up again. And just trying to find those boundaries and knowing they don't want to talk about it, but what do they want to talk about?
So the symposium will help you identify
Yes,
so you can go
I'm
in confidently.
excited about it. Yes, I'm excited about it. I want to help with getting some awareness out there and to help with some marketing so we can get as many people in the room as we can.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming down.
Yeah, thanks,
It's nice
Rick.
to meet you. Okay, Bob, let's finish off with you, buddy. All right, Chief. So any last words here?
A key in listening to you visit here a minute ago, and a comment that she just made, what do we tell the kids when they go down to the park, or what do we tell the kids when they go down to the swimming pool? This typically, trafficking is not going to be a single contact event. It's not they're going to be walking to the store and all of a sudden somebody picks them up and they start trafficking them.
Right.
What's going to happen is that it's going to be a slow, long-term process where they
grooming,
start
right?
grooming them, and they start building their confidence, boosting their morale, boosting their self-worth, getting them to trust the perpetrator, and then getting them to engage. This is not something you walk down to the swimming pool one day and somebody starts trafficking you.
So to a parent, could it even sound like an okay thing at first if you didn't know any better?
Absolutely, and that's what
thinking.
parents do not understand this. And it's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's nothing to be ashamed about. This is a problem that people do not understand. And if you don't understand something, you don't know what you don't know.
And the internet, I'm sure, is a huge, right in your house.
Absolutely. One resource that is available out there, it's the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. If people Google that, they've got a wonderful website. They've got a portion on the website for educators, another area for law enforcement, and another area for parents to provide them tools to help either in the school or at home or help law enforcement.
All right. So again, this is Saturday the 22nd.
Saturday, June 22nd, Junction City, First Baptist Church on 18th Street. People can go to the top of the page. You'll have all that information posted up there.
And lunch will be provided. And
lunch
you're
is
going to be
provided.
Here and learn the things. And if you can get your kids to come, that's going to be a real advantage for your family.
It's the kids and the parents both.
Right.
They have to work together.
Okay. Bob, thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Oh my gosh, thank you. No, this has been amazing. All right, you guys. So that's we keep talking about what can we do? What can we do? Well, that's what we can do. So you got an answer, you got an idea, and again, this is Junction City. I love the fact that here you are. You expect this to come out of big cities, and I love the fact that you're passionate about this, and I think it says a lot about your town and the things you're doing. And I have talked to quite a few people who said, "Oh, we like the new chief. He's an awesome guy." Because he's only been here like 3 years,
Yeah.
you know. So
3 years in August, actually.
dates and times. 22nd is all at the top, you guys. The 22nd of June, Saturday, 9 o'clock in the morning, First Baptist Church, Junction City. It's all in there. What ages is this appropriate for?
8 on up.
So 8 and on up. But if you're a parent of a younger child, come listen, and then you can get information so you can do this when your child gets to the right age. All right?
Absolutely.
People are loving this. All right, buddy.
Rick, thank you.
Oh man, you are welcome. This is what I live for. All right, you guys take this, and the best thing you can do right now, share this on your page, because you never know when some parent is sitting there or a kid, and maybe they're already in this, but they don't know, and this information can be good to get them out of that cycle or find out more about Hope Ranch and that kind of thing. So you never know. If you just share it, it would be really nice for us. All right, thanks guys. See you later. Bye-bye.